Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and today you find me, or this evening you find me, here at the wheel of the MX5, the Eunos Roadster. This has rapidly become one of my favourite cars on the fleet, and most days when it's dry and not salty out, I have been taking this car for a quick blast anywhere I can do. There is, however, one limitation with this car, and that is the lights and the visibility, because it's absolutely tiny. And when you find yourself next to a great big SUV in traffic, you do find you're very vulnerable feeling compared to it. Making the car stand out a bit more, conspicuity they call it in airmanship terms, making yourself more visible to people around you. That's one thing I want to address, and linked to that is also my own ability to see where I'm going, because the headlights on this thing are not the best. The glowworms, I think, perhaps are feeling a little tired. Can really do with having something a wee bit more dazzling in the front of the car, so I can see further than about 4.5 meters in front, because yeah, that's a bit scary sometimes. So my two objectives are to make the car see and be seen an awful lot better. And very luckily indeed, just as I was thinking these thoughts, Auxito dropped me an email saying would I like to try some of their rather nice car LED products, which is a very well timed inbox, because I did. And so they sent me a few to try and make the MX5 a little bit more visible and a little bit more visibler. But let's try and be a little bit scientific with this. Not only have you seen what it's like for me to drive along with these old H4 headlights, let's see exactly how bright these things are on the outside. Right, standing in front of the car, we're about 1 meter in front of it. With the phone, with the lux meter, the light meter in front, we're getting just over 3 lumens, 3.3. That's not high, that's pretty poor to be fair. Pointing it right in front of the lens of the light. Here at the back it's even worse, 0.1 lumens. That's dreadful. Now, before we get too far into this video, I will address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that many of you saw a version of this video a week ago. But I had to take it down really promptly because that video was getting the kind of angry response that is normally reserved for a cyclist video of a DPD driver who's parked slightly too far onto the curb, or a taxi driver doing an illegal U-turn. A lot of people are incredibly angry about LED headlights, despite the fact that this car is only 4 years too new to legally use LED headlights, and that is a tiny discrepancy. And the fact that the headlights on this car are knee height, so you don't really get dazzled by them because they're so low, and that is the point of trying to put bright headlights in this thing. And I walked away from the car and looked back at it, and it was not dazzling. Many people kept on telling me I was irresponsible, I was dangerous. They kept quoting the legal statutes about this, whether you should or shouldn't do it, and they were telling me I was going to get the car failed on its next MOT. Honestly, if an MOT guy noticed that was an LED, I'd have been impressed, for one thing. Secondly, have you seen my MOT history? If my only advisory or fail is I've got to go and change the headlight bulbs, that's the biggest win I've had all year, frankly. Finding it's got no sills or a floor, that's my idea of a bad day at an MOT. Finding you've got to change your headlight bulbs, that's not actually an issue. So to appease all of those people who are very angry about that, I have changed it so you'll see what I added and then what I changed it to. Let's get on with this entire video now. Right, so this is what turned up from Auxito. It's not the full set of everything for the car, but it'll cover a lot of the lights. We've got a whole bunch of these little 501 type slot-in lamps because they are all over the car. Got a pair of these 380/382, one set which is a twin element to go in the back, so stop and tail, and we've got another one which will go into indicators either on the front or the back. And most importantly, we've got these H4 LED light bulbs. Let's get this out of the box. Okay, so this comes with gloves so you don't make a mess of the lenses and things. And here are the LED bulbs. So they look like standard H4 bulbs, just got a bit chunky, standard fitting obviously, but super bright LED. That's really exciting to see what difference that will make to the car, and they should be all sort of ballasted inside so they don't make any difference to the way the car works. And if you hit the link in the description, you can find the Auxito bulbs for your car and get 10% off them by following that link. Now, if you're wondering how you work on the headlights of an MX5 or a Eunos or a Miata, the answer is this cool little button here on the dashboard in the centre. Just give that a little push, and up come the headlights, but without turning them on, so you can work on them. Super handy. Now, to find your way in to attack these light bulbs, there are actually 5 screws around the edge of this headlamp. They're just sort of in between the plastic bezel and the glass itself. 2 of them you don't want to touch because they are your headlamp alignment, leave them alone. They're the big ones that are nice and obvious and the ones you're obviously going to be drawn to. The 3 tiny ones that are in there, other ones you want to be undoing, don't undo them all the way because they're a pig to get back in. You just need to slacken them off, and then you can rotate the metal bezel around the glass and lift it out once they've been slackened off a wee bit. You can easily see the adjuster, but the actual holding it in place one is very hard to get to. There you go. I did just pop off the plastic cowl so you get a better look of how these shroud mounts work, which is basically pretty standard for any old British car, to be honest. It's the same on the P6 over there. There we go. Click it around with a screwdriver and it should pop off. That then pries out of there. This then pops forward, carefully obviously. Now, when these cars shipped new, they actually came with sealed beams, so if you want to do this kind of upgrade, you would normally have to go and buy an unsealed H4 mounting type glass bulb. However, someone in the past has thankfully replaced this, or these I'm hoping, only checked one, I should have checked them both really, shouldn't I, with removable type glass bowls. So very easily I can just undo this little clip here and lift out the bulb. Super simple. Right, now, because they suggest using the gloves, I will don the rather fetching auctioneer's gloves. Apparently these are 6,000 Kelvin, so kind of daylight balanced, so nice white light, and also aircraft grade aluminium, which is nice. And then it pops, and I've just upgraded my car to LED headlights. That's down, clipped into place, rubber bung back over the top, done. Right, that's all back together, but one thing I hadn't realised is there are actually four, count them, 4 side lights on this car. There's little ones down here next to the indicators and the bumper, but there's also the ones up here in the headlamp bowl itself, which I hadn't realised was there, so I had to go and get these separately afterwards because I hadn't asked Auxito for these originally because I didn't know they existed. I'd never noticed them. Fortunately, I did have a couple of these ones knocking around in the garage, so I could pop them in as well. Do you know, I'm actually fairly convinced those side lights that are inside there are not Mazda standard, because that wiring does not look like Mazda's loom at all. So just clip this back in here, and that's done. Side light back in through the side of the lamp, also done. And now the fiddly bit of just reattaching the bezel around that and making it all line up properly, which will take a moment. And done. Right, now that's one side done, let's quickly go and do the other. Right, so now the moment of truth. Let's see what these things look like. Wow, that is bright. I'm not sure why the side lights aren't working now, because they were working a second ago when I tested them. I guess I'll be taking that apart again now. Okay, so I did a quick check on this. Definitely 100%, no chance at all is it factory wiring that's adding the extra side light in the bottom of there. And I was only getting 3 volts. And the fact that these apparently screw connectors are very rusty doesn't bode well for it. Is there power reaching this far? Ooh, 11.87, yeah, that's where the power's getting to, and it seems to be breaking off before it reaches the light, so I'll sort that out quickly. I think I can call this one a bad connection issue. That is just pure rust. Okay, I've had to do a little bit of rewiring here because it turned out that this not only was very rusty, they hadn't even bothered putting any insulation around anything at all, and as soon as I started twiddling with it, it blew all the fuses, so they're going in the bin. So I've rewired a new bulb holder that I had in the garage in there, so now we can actually put this together and finally see what the front of the car looks like. The only thing that's a little bit concerning now is the fact that I now know I've got something equally bad on the driver's side, so I'm going to have to deal with that at some point before too long. Anyway, it works at the moment. The thing I've just noticed though is that taking these side light indicator blocks out here is actually a bit of a pain, and they are very, very fragile. They will explode into tiny pieces of 30-year-old plastic at a moment's notice, and they cost quite a lot to replace. I've just realised though, with this plastic panel out of the way, you can get to the back of them without taking it out. These little 501 bulbs are in so many things, in so many cars, so the leftovers will definitely come in handy for a few other projects. Wow, that is like dazzling bright now. I thought I'd better take a look at this light holder because first of all the light bulb isn't held in particularly well, but also I was rather concerned about the fact that the previous one on the other side had no insulation between the two tags. It took a whole 4 more seconds of looking at that to decide it was far too rusty to leave in place, especially with the uninsulated little clips on there, so that's now hardwired in there and hopefully not going to be an issue in the future. Fingers crossed. And this is the orange LED version of the 380, I think it's 380 not a 382, that's now in there. So check out that compared with the original. That is a significant difference. You can really see the car is trying to change lanes and not being driven into, please. What a difference. Right, now to make this thing a little bit more visible from the behind, we have got our tail lights which just literally clip out from here. This one here in the middle is our stop tail. The indicator is actually just slightly around the corner, not part of this group, and I really wish I had got the orange LEDs for those rear ones as well. I have to go back for them, I think. But this is just literally a case of popping this out and popping these little 382s in this nice little packet like this. And these are the twin element type, so you can see on the bottom. Pop it in there, and that is literally installed. And you know I said I've got more uses for the 501s. Well, guess what? This being a Eunos, it has got a high level brake light, which the European cars, British cars, didn't get. So we can pop this high level brake one out and replace that with one of these. Literally push fit and done. And squeak it back into the boot lid. Not even a screwdriver involved at the centre of the car. That's the way I like to do business. The only other exterior ones I can do right now, because I've not got the reversing lights or the indicators, are these number plate lights. And you pull out a few little clips, this comes forward and then you can get to them. I found about 5 rubber gloves in it, which is great because I always need rubber gloves. Just hope none of these have been used in anything nefarious. Oh, they're not 501s. That's interesting. They're 380s. Those are big for number plate bulbs. I'm amazed we've got a 380 massive number plate bulb and 2 of them, and a 501 top level brake light. That's bizarre. Now after I saw how good the front LED indicator lights were, I had to go and get a second pack. I noticed that the indicators flashed a little bit quicker after I changed the front incandescent bulbs for LEDs. And if I switch these out, hopefully we'll find these don't flash any faster than they currently are at the moment. Oh, come on, you're not moving! Come on, you sons. That's well and truly wedged. Just pop that in there, and we'll flick the indicator on to make sure it works. Oh no, they're not ballasted ones! Okay, that'll have to come out for the moment until I go and get a ballast thingy off eBay. Those Amazon indicator resistors I was using in the Crown Vic, it didn't work in that, didn't work in this either. Those things are rubbish. However, I have next to me got a rather useful 1973 Rover, which does take these in the front. And I've got some rather rare lenses, which I will show you as well in the next Rover P6 video. So tune into the next P6 video when we do some interesting fun stuff on the front of this car. Sleaze is going to get a few little additions. Right now, the proof is very much in the pudding, and I've got to tell you, these lights are astonishingly bright compared to how we were yesterday. And we've now got a reading, it's going up and up and up, 27. That's a fair bit more. And if I go close up, before it's 12, we've now got 67, 68, 70, 71, 70, crikey. Yeah, that is astonishingly larger amount of light output from those little lamps. And around the back of the car, what have we had before? It's now 40, well, it's in the 40s, 30s to 40s lux. That's just so much more brightness going out behind the car to make the car more visible to people following behind the car. So really, no excuse for not being seen on the road. Let's take it up the road quickly and see if we can see better down the road. I'm sure we will be able to though. Well, what can I say? The view down the road is a lot brighter. I can see so much further and so much brighter. It is a very white light, it's a very cold white light, but it's very crisp and clear. I'm hoping that because I am so low down in this car, it's not going to be a dazzling thing like it would be on, well, bright lights. They are literally at face height, coming straight to the back window of most other cars. This though is so low to the ground that, well, basically you need all the help you can get to remain visible. That is seriously brighter. The camera's not doing it justice, but that is so much brighter than it was before. Main thing is, it's like driving a Tesla. We're in proper serious headlight country now. Glowing against the side of the road before you really couldn't. So I'm very impressed and very happy indeed, and I can see the glow of my tail lights on the signs behind me as well. But don't forget, use the codes in the description below to get 10% off your own Auxito LED lights, which compared to the cheap Amazon stuff you get, feel like so much better quality in terms of build and light output. So there we go, we've got a massive upgrade. So much easier to see at night, and thank goodness so much easier to be seen as well, because although some people might be commenting right now, oh, I can't believe you're putting those horrible LED lights in your car right now, the fact is this car is going to be easier to be seen and therefore harder to hit, and I'd rather annoy a couple of people than get my car smashed into by some careless idiot. Driving back doing the filming of this last night, there was a 4-car smash on the back road where I was doing my filming, where someone had just been overtaking and hadn't seen a car coming towards them. So I would rather not be on the receiving end of that. The advantages are lower power draw. On the brake lights they'll flick on faster so people can see I'm stopping more quickly, give them an extra tenth of a second. Sometimes that's all it takes to avoid being rear-ended. Car is easier to see within the road. Less power drain, there's less draw on that, so less load on the alternator. Maybe even better MPG, who knows? Overall, there's nothing but advantages to this new situation. Right, now the bit I didn't want to go and have to do, but the reaction to the first version of this video when it went up the other day, it was so extreme, I've had to go and buy a pack of Osram non-LED headlight bulbs. On a technicality, because this car is newer than 1986, it shouldn't have LED headlights in it. However, looking at this particular car, you can see from the video that the actual pattern, the light spread, is incredibly similar. It's just a brighter, cleaner light, and it's a bit brighter. Looking at the car from outside, it doesn't look dazzling, it doesn't look glary. It is so low, it is like knee height. So it's not in your face, it's not making a massive statement about how bright it is. It just makes the car more visible on the road to other users, and it makes the car easier to get along the road. However, the number of comments actually citing the specific regulation was just insane. And that's very confusing, because a number of people telling me that I don't need to worry about MOTing and registering the V8 and telling the DVLA I've changed the engine in it. Legally is a far bigger issue than not having the right headlight bulbs in. I mean, if you want to get your insurance cancelled, that's how you do it, not this. I don't think it's a massive issue. I think they are brighter, but I don't think they're a problem. However, I don't want to be running foul of the law, and I don't want someone to report me, so I have bought 150% brighter, so we'll switch those over, and then we'll be legal again and everyone can stop sending me nasty comments. It does seem to be such a shame to be downgrading these lights from something such a good technology to potentially an inferior technology. Keep you all happy, I will do this. However, it does mean I've now got a lovely set of very good LED headlight bulbs and a car that is pre-1986, which has currently got its front end off, and I'm about to work on the headlights. So what do you think, guys? I don't know why I'm asking the question. I'm not looking for an opinion, I'm doing it anyway. Right, so I've now successfully downgraded the headlights from LED back to incandescent. Let's see how good they are now. Honestly, I think they're more dazzling than the LED ones were. They're a yellower light, obviously, because they're incandescent. They are very bright. They're 150% brighter than standard, so they're going to throw more light down the road. We'll look at them in the dark in a couple of hours' time when the sun goes down. But it doesn't look as nice now, because we've now got the blue of the LED side light matching down here. We've got the yellow at the top, which is somewhat disappointing. Well, I've come back out in the darkness to see what kind of light output we're getting from these light bulbs, showing around 9, which is a lot duller than it was previously. 18, 20, 21, okay, so we've gone a lot darker than before. And the thing is, on camera, these look really, really flary and really, really bright, but in reality, they look an awful lot dimmer than the LEDs did, and not a lot brighter than the standard headlights did previously, so I'm not sure we've actually gone for much of an upgrade in terms of light output. This is the view down the side of the Freelander now. This is somewhat disappointing. I honestly don't think there's much less in the way of glare from these than there is from the LEDs. So this is a slightly sad end to this video, which was so hopeful and triumphant. However, the rest of these other side lights, the indicators, the brakes and things are significantly brighter. So the safety outcome is improved in those areas of the video, which is a good thing, obviously. And of course, there is the discount code in the link in the description below, and those LED bulbs will live on in our friend Sleaze next to us. Anyway, thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed. I'm very sorry we've had to go and take this video down and bring it back up again in a different format, and I honestly think this car was absolutely fine with the LED light bulbs, but the issue was really not what people were making it into. Anyway, thank you for watching. Join us again next time. We're back on the Rover, or maybe the Mini again next week.